From the first stirrings of life beneath the water, to the great beast of the Stone Age, to man's first steps upright, the life on this planet has been stretching its limbs all over the place. Our species has felt pretty comfortable on this floating rock for a good chunk of history, but when the 20th century of the Gregorian calendar brought us a big technological advancement due to 2 world wars, a man began to wonder. Can we go further? Of course, we always looked up and thought what's up there and how to get there, but only recently we gained proper tools to start actually experimenting. So, as of 1st of April 1961, the space was no longer restricted for the stars, when Yuri Gagarin, a Russian astronaut, orbited the Earth in a spacecraft Vostok 1. So, the first barrier was broken. Humanity can go space! Now that we've discovered how to traverse this vast space, a question began to roll around. What about the aliens? Now that we know that sky is no longer the limit, should we look for life outside of our back garden? Let's start with a simple question. What would happen if we found extraterrestrial life? For that we actually have an answer. In 1960, NASA commissioned the Brookings Institute, one of the biggest research groups in the US, to answer that very question. A paper was published on 1st of December 1960, titled Proposed Studies on the Implication of Peaceful Space Activities for Human Affairs, detailing a scenario where the government has found a peaceful form of life outside of Earth, and posing a question. Should they or should they not tell the populace about that discovery? The report goes into studies of psychology, sociology and astronomy, but we actually have a live example of this happening before. 30th October 1938. It was a nice evening in the homes of the US citizens. A lot of dumb things happen in America, don't you think? A radio broadcast comes on the receivers at 8 PM sharp. Today a lot of people tuned in because a special occasion is unraveling. The War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells' novel, is being read by the very best Orson Welles. Clearly not an occasion to miss. To the uninitiated, War of the Worlds is a science fiction title about extraterrestrials from Mars invading Earth. Unfortunately, not everyone was familiar with the radio show going on, and turned on their devices to hear what sounded like an actual report of Martians taking over the planet. This very incident would cause a law change, creating the definition of false news, which are news broadcasts in the universe of a show, or as in the case of War of the Worlds, a book. So now that we've established that humanity should not know about aliens, because it may cause mass panic and worldwide hysteria, let's talk about aliens themselves. Do they exist? Is there even a threat to worry about? For that we need to dive neck deep into the Fermi paradox. The premise of it is simple. If the universe is so vast and technically infinite, where are all the aliens? If there is an X amount of habitable planets, shouldn't we have received a message? Shouldn't someone or something have called us already? And there isn't a simple answer to it like, we are too far apart or there aren't any life forms anywhere. Most common, however, you can find an idea that every life or civilization out there is on a line. This line could represent a state of technological or genetic advancement. On this line is a wall, what I would call the doomsday line, a point of no return, some sort of a test. According to the thesis, every living thing has to attempt to cross it. And here's where the thesis dissolves. We don't know what's behind that line. We don't know how difficult it is to cross. We don't know if we are past it or in front of it. We don't know if there is a species before us that attempted to cross that line. We don't know anything beyond that point. We could theorize if we are ahead or past the doomsday line. We could look at a Kardashev scale. Nikolai Kardashev was a Russian astronomer that came up with a scale to define types of civilizations based off their energy consumption and technological capabilities. His original scale was 3 tiers. Type 1 Civ is a civilization that can fully harvest the resources of its own planet. Type 2 Civ is a civilization probably in possession of a Dyson sphere that can harvest the energy of its local star. Type 3 Civ is a civilization that can fully harvest the energy of its local galaxy. On this scale, humanity is not even a Type 1 civilization, being close to harvesting all of Earth's natural resources. To find a complex form of life, such as ourselves or even greater, it's a fool's job. To think we own our planet, it's a weak man's comfort. Maybe this isn't even real. Why should we care for all of this? In the words of the philosopher Alan Watts, if a tree falls over in a forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it really make a noise?